Hello and welcome. Today I am going to talk about what is anthropology and what is anthropological theory. The word anthropology is derived from a Greek word or two Greek words, and anthropology is a combination of those two words, and those two words are anthropos and logos. Anthropos is the Greek word for human being, and logos means words, but it also means study or truth. So anthropology becomes then the study of human beings, or or truth about seeking uh, a discipline that seeks the truth about human beings. Now, anthropologists have debated since the emergence of anthropology if there is one truth, singular truth, universal truth about human beings, or there are multiple truths about human beings. As a biological being, certainly all human beings are the same. But as cultural beings, there are diversities, varieties, differences. So, cultural anthropologists think uh, that there are multiple truths as far as human culture is concerned. Uh, so, one of the famous anthropologists, Paul Rabinowitz, commented that there is no one truth about the human being, there are multiple heterogeneous truths or heterologoi. One truth or multiple truths, unity or variety, unity or difference, unity or diversity. And this has been debated for long by anthropologists, and cultural anthropologists have mostly settled on the side of multiple truths, variety, difference, and diversity. Generally, anthropology is based on the basic assumption of unity of human beings as species. But although all human beings are biologically the same, but there are biological qualities which are equally shared by all human beings that predisposes us to also generate diversity, also generate varieties of responses, diversity of responses to the challenges that we face, to the environment that we negotiate, to the society that we kind of have to navigate in order to live, in order to be alive. So, cultural anthropology as a subfield assumes that this unity is also the basis of diversity expressed in cultures of different people. So, in this class, we are concerned with theories in cultural anthropology, and by theories here I mean theoretical paradigms, theoretical schools that have tried to make sense of this diversity, tried to explain this diversity in various ways. Some of them have looked at this diversity and said that this diversity is actually the diversity can should be explained in terms of various stages of social evolution. Others have commented that this diversity that we see are actually responses to different kinds of geographical and social environment, and arising out of various kinds of biological needs, and so on. And some others have commented that even the needs themselves are created and shaped by society, the state, or powerful forms that human beings themselves create, such as religion. So, we are going to look at all these kinds of explanations and see how we can have a dialogue among all these different bodies of expansion and look at them critically. So, if you are an anthropology major, then I think by now you know the subdisciplines in anthropology. The subdisciplines are biological anthropology, archaeology, linguistic anthropology, cultural and or socio-cultural anthropology, or social anthropology. So cultural anthropology is the name mostly used by the American anthropologists, and social anthropology is the name used for the same discipline by the British anthropologists. And both United States and Great Britain have very robust tradition of practicing social or cultural anthropology. So you can also call it socio-cultural anthropology. And linguistic anthropology and cultural anthropology, they are very close, and as linguistic anthropologists and cultural anthropologists assert, that it's not possible to know a culture without actually also analyzing the language and the symbols in that culture. So linguistic anthropologists and cultural anthropologists work very closely. uh, there is, I would like to say that there is something uh, common to all the subfields. Uh, the first thing that is common to all the subfields is that all the subfields of anthropology, despite their agreements and disagreements, take a very holistic approach to the study of a human being. They do not divide the human being into different parts. They want to look at the human being as a totality, which can be known without breaking it down, uh, which is as it is true for biological anthropology, whatever their concerns, which is different from the cultural, sociocultural anthropology, but they nonetheless want to understand the human beings in its totality, in its wholeness. Cultural anthropologists too want to understand human beings in their totality, in their wholeness, not simply human beings as economic beings or as religious beings, but how the same person um, straddles between various spheres in society and thereby tries to manage himself or herself in both the spheres or fail to do so. So, this has been the concern of cultural anthropologists. And also, all the subdisciplines are attentive to variation, differences, and diversities. Now, what is theory? Theory is anthropologists have used their theories, but all social sciences have theories. Theories is what constitutes all the disciplines. Theories, to put it very bluntly, are broad generalizations. But then we need to have to qualify it. So these are not simple broad generalizations. These are broad generalizations which are also objects of huge debates, critiques, and on the basis of these broad generalizations, practitioners in a discipline uh, draw hypotheses in order to test it. Practitioners use those generalizations or statements based on those generalizations to see if those statements or those generalizations actually explain things that they see around them, that they are interested in, uh, academically interested in. So if it does not, or if it does not fully explain, or if it does not explain to the satisfaction of the the practitioner or the student in that discipline, then people make changes. People reformulate those generalizations. Uh, Now, there, if we cannot do that, if we take those broad generalizations to be the truth uh, about human beings or about the world around us, then we are falling into the trap of turning those broad generalizations into stereotypes or ideologies or political opinions. So, but uh, uh, there should be a cautionary note that in the study of human affairs, there is often an overlap where theories become tend to become more kind of stereotypes or ideological positions. So people cannot are not free to challenge those generalizations, um, and thereby people take very strong positions. And that is why critical thinking is necessary, peer review is necessary, and methodological issues should be debated all the time to keep the critical perspective alive. So it's not just theory, not just broad generalizations, but at the same time simultaneously a critical attitude towards broad generalizations. That is what constitutes theory, and those theories constitute a discipline. So, more on what is theory. Theory, therefore, is a big picture, gives us roadmaps, orients us in the midst of facts, ideas, beliefs, opinions to arrive at general statements. Um, so, based on insights gained by observing particular events and processes, we form these generalizations to help us further explain the experiences, the things that we encounter in, in reality. Now, there are two processes that underlie a theory building process. One is induction, and the other is deduction. Although human beings have been doing have remained engaged in induction and deduction since a long time, but these processes were identified and kind of um, were used very critically uh, in the post Enlightenment period, when logicians started identifying exactly how human beings uh, generalize, how human beings know about the world in which they are uh, alive, or they uh, are earning a livelihood, or just simply living. So, the two processes are induction and deduction. Induction is arriving at a general statement by observing particular phenomenon. So you can observe a bird-like animal which flies and has a long slender neck and has a white body color, and then you see those in number of places and come to the conclusion that this, or give it a name, let's call it swan, or a different kind of bird, and say that this bird does this and this. If it has a white body color and it flies, it is a bird, and it's a specific kind of bird, and it kind of lives close to the ponds, or those are the general statements based on observations. The other thing that we do in order to know is deduction. So where you already have a general statement, but you deduce further statements from those general particular statements from those general statements, in order to see if they work, if they explain. For example, if somebody says, as uh, sun rises up in the sky, the temperature increases. So, if that's a general statement, then you can kind of reduce that. From that, you can derive some particular statements, such as, so the temperature should be low when sun rises in the morning, and you can kind of measure the temperature using a thermometer, and then again you can say that then therefore the temperature will be, which should feel warmer when in the middle of the day at 12 noon, and then you can measure the temperature to see if those particular statements derived from the general statement are correct or not. Now, how do we do this? Knowledge, as I should note, is never formed in a vacuum. theory always draws, or induction or deduction always draws on some kind of proto theory, an, an understanding that precedes uh, induction or deduction, which is there are already we are we have some received knowledge, some received broad generalizations. So and these received broad generalizations, which can be also given to us by certain bodies of theories, are of two kinds, and they are of two different types. There is ontology and epistemology. So ontology is are those ideas that we already have about the state of things or the world, state of being. And epistemologies are those ideas which tell us how to know about the state of being. So, going back to our earlier example of birds, so I mean, the moment you see a flying object that flying kind of animal, or you know that that's a bird, right? And so there's already an ontology there. So there's already certain ideas that inform your knowing, inform your observations, uh, which sometimes can guide you, but sometimes can also make you biased towards particular things. But you already have certain fundamental ideas about how the world works, and on the basis of which you observe. And in this case, we already have that the birds fly. We already know that, and then we go on to kind of generalizing about what kind of bird is that one, and how it looks. Now, epistemology is the the ideas that we have about how to know about this world. What are the methods that we use to know? Now, in the earlier example that I gave, I was using a thermometer, right? So thermometer here is that measure so my way of knowing about the world, about temperature, is thermometer. Somebody else's way of knowing, which is given, which is received, right? Somebody else's can be just touching and feeling the temperature. So, and we have to be so every theory has an ontology and an epistemology, some certain ideas about the state of being and certain ideas about how to know about the world around us, and we have to critically interrogate those. So every theory comes with this ontology and epistemology, and then when there is a shift from one theory to the other, when there is a critique, then people challenge or contest their ontologies and epistemologies. So that is all for today. Thank you so much. I'll see you again next time.